Hello and greetings to all. Namaste from India. I'm Michelle Elizabeth Jose and I'm very happy to be here at the Australian Apitherapy conference. Today I'll be speaking about something which is quite close to my heart, which is something which is very personal to me too, and that is bees and children. I'll give a very small introduction about myself. I'm a 13-year-old bee from India and I live in Kerala, which is the southernmost state of India, also known as Gold Zone country. Kerala is a land filled with lush greenery, flora, fauna, backwaters, etc. And I live in a very typical countryside home. I started to keep bees, or I started to keep my own bees when I was 10 years old, and I'm very proud to be a young bee. Since 2020, after the pandemic struck India, after we were all in a lockdown mode, I've been attending online classes using the aid of technology. I thoroughly miss my school, my classmates, my teachers, my friends, and all the crazy and fun times that we used to enjoy at school otherwise. I'm sure you noticed two words at the very beginning of this presentation: being personal. Yes, beekeeping is something which is quite close to my heart, which is quite personal to me, as this has been going on in my family for generations. It was my great great grandfather who started this tradition, and I'm the fifth generation beekeeper. I'm also the first she bee from my family. My two gurus are my grandfather, Louis Alexander, who was kind enough to let me into some of his tricks and secrets that he gained through his experience. Most of them, even Google or Wikipedia can't tell you about. And my father, George Lewis, who taught me more of the modern methods in beekeeping and also shared some knowledge that that he gained through his experience. Yes, it was a very, very natural training mode with all the clumsiness, the anger, the stings, the tears, etc. And I learned through my experience too. For instance, I understood that bees sting very badly when I was very young. The victim was my brother. I used him as my human shield, and placing him in front of me, I poked the stick into my bee box. My poor brother had to experience a full blast of it, and he was stung all over his face. So it was fun. It was really fun too. I have around a dozen beehives, each of them located in the surrounding of my home. I personally collect honey from my hives. I personally take care of them. But after the pandemic struck India, after we were all confined to our neighborhoods and our homes, my neighbors also developed a small interest in beekeeping. Most of them are kids, and they often comes and helps me too. Since March this year, I have been using social media platforms to sell my honey, and I'm quite happy that I'm able to earn a bit of pocket money too. I also collect honey from local beekeepers, and I also mentor some fellow bees too. For me, beekeeping is a very passionate and serious hobby which keeps me engaged and strongly connected with nature and the world around me. Beekeeping helps me to avoid the stress from not being able to attend school, meeting my schoolmates and friends and catching up with them. And yes, it reduces the time that I spend in front of the television or the computer. I also observe and manage wild beehives. That is to say, I also observe and domesticate wild beehives. This is a picture of a tree trunk from which I was able to get my finest wild colony. After we moved the colony into a neat bee box, we patched the trunk up using some mud, thread, etc. And we kept it at a good location from where swarming bees can access it very easily. I also read a lot about bee conservation, and it's a great way of learning about conservation and securing and safeguarding planet Earth for ourselves and for the generations to come. As I already mentioned earlier, since March this year, I have been selling my honey using social media platforms, online platforms too. I have a website, indianbees.org. So far, I've got more than 140 regular customers from all across my country, India. I'm quite happy that I'm able to earn my own pocket money, and I'm sure that I'll be able to support a good portion of my school fees for the ongoing academic year. Beekeeping has also helped me to grow, to develop a lot personally too. It has turned this very lazy, idle teenager a bit more responsible, and I'm finally accountable for my own expenses. I realized that money never grows on trees. Along with that, I was able to empower myself with leadership qualities, and I've evolved as a young, promising entrepreneur. Yes, honey and other bee-related products are healthy. We came to know that about 10 different products can be obtained from the honeybees, all of them which are very good for our health and nutrition. We have jars full of pure raw honey, carefully stored in very neat and healthy conditions at my home kitchen store. Honey is a super healthy, super tasty, super natural food supplement which has high medicinal values and nutritional value. Also, it is a great immunity booster, and honey is now being used as a substitute for sugar. In the recent past, many studies were conducted and it revealed the honey fraud which is going on. That is to say, we came to know that most of the top-notch brands which are selling honey are actually selling corn syrup or sugar syrup under the mask of honey. So there is a huge need for honey as bees made it. What better way to get your own honey, to procure your own honey, or to source your own honey than to extract it or to harvest it from the hives that you take care of personally? Any family can set up a beehive at a very cheap rate of 25 US dollars. And with just 5 hives at a home garden or surrounding, a family will be able to get enough honey for its own domestic needs. And also, it will also help them to earn an additional income too. Being a female bee, keeping bees is not something which requires much tedious, nerve-wracking effort. It's not gender specific either. For instance, imagine that you're walking into an apiary. The bees won't be making any announcements like this. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be easier for us if you would divide yourself into groups according to your gender. No, they won't. They'll just sting you. You are going into an apiary to steal the rightful property of the bees, the honey. They won't look for anything else. They'll just sting you. So this is not gender specific. It is a great hobby, a serious hobby for young girls and women folk, which will help them to stand on their own 2 feet, which will help them to earn an income for themselves and their basic needs. Beekeeping will also help us to learn to make value-added products from the honeybees, which are good for health, nutrition, and wellness. And also, beekeeping will turn yourself into a self-made entrepreneur in your own locality. The income generated from beekeeping or the profit that you get can be utilized for one's own education, personal or domestic needs. And yes, this is a great hobby for free-spirited, independent young girls and women folk. My journey so far as a young bee has been nothing short of amazing. I'm proud to be a young bee because I know that I'm contributing towards securing a better planet and environment. And my primary focus is to conserve the native bee species of India, which is the Apis cerana indica. Beekeeping has helped me a lot to develop personally too. Beekeeping helped me to break free of the shackles of loneliness during the pandemic, as I was able to interact with different people from all across my country who came from diverse cultures, backgrounds, traditions, and they spoke different languages. It improved my communication skills and also my confidence. And it's a great confidence booster too, especially when the customer replies you or texts you that yeah, you're doing a great job, your honey was amazing. It's a great confidence booster. I have a customer oriented approach and focus, and it has helped me to build a great base of creating and retaining loyal customers and patrons from all across my India. Yes, being a bee is super cool and super happy. I'll tell you a bit more about the Apis cerana indica. The Sarana bees are the native bee species of India or the domesticated bee species of India and is found very commonly in our region. The Sarana is more aggressive than the Mellifera, but they don't produce propolis, which is a setback. And the average production of honey from a hive is about 10 kilograms during the season. These bees are easy to maintain as they are adapted to the very adverse and sometimes very cruel climatic conditions of Kerala, especially during the heavy monsoon season. The monsoons here are very terrible. Wax moths and wasps are the main enemies of the Sarana bees, and special care must be given during the monsoon season. The best way to prevent the wax moths from taking over the colony is to observe the colony regularly and to clean the spaces where wax moths can sit comfortably. And the best way to prevent, the easiest method to prevent the wasp is to identify the time where the wasp activity near the apiary is quite high and stay there with a racket or something and eliminate the wasp. The Serrana bees are very particular about hive keeping. Their hives have to be very dry during the monsoon season and should be very ventilated during the summertime, or else the bees will just simply abandon the hive. This is a top view of a brood chamber in the monsoon season, a particularly good brood chamber. And this is a view of a brood chamber frame with the bees. This is a particularly good frame. You can see the eggs here, you can see the worker bees, and also you can see the drones here. Another reason why apiculture must be given a global center stage is because it supports the Sustainable Development Goals directly. Out of the 17 SDG goals, 6 of them can be influenced by the bees. For instance, the first SDG goal, which is no poverty. As I already mentioned earlier, any family can set up a beehive at a very cheap rate of 25 US dollars. After the harvesting season, after dividing the colony and etc., you'll be able to get 10, 20, or 30 or 40 times the amount that you had to spend from your own pocket. So this is a beekeeping will help us to erase poverty from the face of the earth. The second is SDG goal, which is zero hunger. These will help us to attain that too. The third is the sustainable development goal is good health and well-being. Honey and bee related products are has high nutritional value and medicinal value. Also, honey is widely used in the ancient Indian system of medicine, which is Ayurveda, to treat illness like cough, cold, fever, etc. The fifth SDG goal is gender equality. I already explained about it, so I don't think we need to go about it in detail. The 13th goal and the 15th goal, which is climate action and life on land respectively, can also be influenced by the bees. Plants depends on bees and bees depends on plants. These are some of my other accomplishments. I'm doing quite well in my academics and I've won multiple prizes for essay writing, elocution, manuscript, magazine preparation, etc. So thank you. That's it from me. Thank you a lot for giving me a chance to share my story, to share my journey with you. You can contact me at mishitani@gmail.com or through www.indianbees.org. Please watch a video in which I'm taking care of my bees.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I have few beehives that we take care of at our home and we collect pure natural honey. I hope you like it. If you want to get a bottle of pure honey from us, just make an online payment and we'll be shipping it to you across the country.
Thank you a lot for that's it from me. Thank you a lot.